Previously on Two Up and Overloaded. Tim and I, along with our new friend Dan, delivered a bench to a wonderful Indonesian couple who were unsuspecting of the gift, and the experience melted our hearts. Dan's generosity inspired us to give back to the local community who has been so accepting, hospitable, and kind. So happy to be able to give these beautiful, beautiful people such an amazing gift. Oh my God, it's amazing, it's amazing. As we made our way across the island of Java, we wanted to show our appreciation, respect, and love for this country to a pair of strangers, just as many had done for us. In this episode, we tackle a hill that pushes our Bajaj Pulsar motorcycle to its limits. Or a bit past its limits, as we ride to a viewpoint that takes our breath away. But on the way down, we realize that we may have pushed our motorcycle too far. So the front tire is going.
Is the brake like sticking on the thing or something?
Whoa.
So, surprise, surprise, the next morning was another absolutely beautiful day in this little village magical landscape.
Good morning, everyone. It is another gorgeous, beautiful day in the village here in Indonesia, and we are going to be doing something pretty cool today. Actually, I'm a little nervous about it. Apparently there is this hill of death that even like electric scooters can't get up. Tim seems pretty confident that our motorcycle is going to get up with both of us on it. I'm not so sure about that, but anyway, we're going to attempt it, and we're going to go to this really cool spot. It should have an amazing view, and I'm excited and scared.
I heard there was doubting Dorco over here and I had to step in.
I'm doubting. I am doubting.
Dorco has turbo boost.
Dorco does not have turbo boost. Well, we'll see. Here we go.
Dan wanted to take us to the pinnacle of this volcano.
Yeah, so we were actually inside the crater of an old volcano on the island of Java. There were several villages there. We were in the village of Tempur, but he wanted to take us way up on a road that basically went to the crater's rim and offered a view of the entire volcanic crater.
Dan did warn us that the road got pretty sketchy.
Yeah, and his wife Umi, who's from the village, was kind of telling us, don't listen to Dan, don't go on this road. And we're like, why? It's gonna be fine. She's like, no, it's not gonna be fine. Yeah. But of course, we like an adventure, so we decided, we're gonna trust Dan.
Yeah, which, is gone well so far.
It has.
And he's on this little scooter, and I'm like, if his little, I think it's like a 150, I'm like, Dorco could do that. Too much faith in Dorco.
Dorco is a Bajaj Pulsar 220, so that's quite a lot more cc's than a 150, right?
Yeah, that weighs about 4 times as much. Plus you on the back adds, another 55 pounds or so.
Wow, you're very nice.
Yes. But we set off very excited for another good day. Hey everyone, nice to have you here. We are Tim
And Marissa No Tear.
I ride in the front
And I'm in the rear.
We travel the world and we pack too much gear.
Oh, all the places we'll go.
Through rain and through sleet and through mud and through snow.
Oh, all the things we'll see.
We've been to a country or two.
Or 3. Oh, all the fun we've had.
You have you along would make us real glad.
So give us a like and hit subscribe
to join us along our epic ride. So we start winding around this road that is no wider than like a jogging path or, you know, like a bike path through, you know, Millennium Park or what's the big park in New York?
Central Park.
Central Park, the one right there in the middle.
Actually, I think the bike paths in Central Park are bigger, wider than this one. This was really, really narrow and very twisty, but worst of all, it was quite steep. So once you started to head upwards, you cannot stop.
No.
You know, you just have to keep going, 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 and revving that engine in order to keep the momentum going upwards.
Yeah. And going uphill on Dorco is like a first gear type scenario.
Yes.
You know, you're revving, you're going, you're at high RPMs, and you're like, maybe I should go to second gear, you know? And you go to second gear, and the bike's like, and it's like, all right, first gear, I'm sorry. Bike's riddling and rattling, and you know, we're keeping up with this little scooter ahead of us.
Man, I mean, you go up pretty quickly, and all of a sudden I'm looking around and there's these little villages that we're passing through, but between the buildings you can just make out these mountains in the distance, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're getting higher and higher and higher, and the views are getting more and more impressive.
Absolutely. After riding through like 3 of these remote small villages that were cuter than the next one, and just everybody within them were smiling at us and waving, and they're just so kind. And we ride through one last village, and then as soon as the road kind of ends after its city limits, if you will, village limits, it turns into a really, really narrow path, and then immediately turns into gravel, and that's where the Umi Road began.
That's the road that we were warned against going on.
Indeed. The concrete path had turned into a gravel path, and then that gravel path turned into just 2 tire tracks, you know, the width of a truck apart. And then as we climbed up, that narrowed down into like a single path.
Yeah.
This is where things got a little bit more sketchy, just because there wasn't multiple lines to pick. You were on the line, and you better hope that nothing's going to make you stop.
I could tell immediately that, like, oh, okay, this is the part that, that is going to be very, very tricky, because it was very, very steep, very, very narrow, but also filled with these huge rocks. I mean, the going of it, this was not a paved road. This was a bumpy, someone threw some rocks down in the jungle type of path.
Yeah. I was like, just momentum, Tim. Momentum.
Yes. Finally, we see that Dan stops ahead, and I am just so relieved. I'm like, oh, this is it. We've come to the end. We've come to the pinnacle of this road.
I was done. I was like, this is good.
This is amazing. Wow.
We're coming up here.
This is the edge of an entire huge volcanic crater. Mount Maria, right?
Yes.
Mount Maria, Indonesia. This is an active volcano, and we are standing on the edge of it. It has villages inside the volcano crater. I mean, the last time it erupted was 2,000 years ago or so. So it's active in all of geological history, but let's just hope that it doesn't erupt anytime soon. But look at that view. Wow. This is just one portion of the crater. The crater of this volcano is massive.
Yeah, there were 5 eruption sites.
5 eruption sites, and this is the other side of the crater. You have to go over here. We're going to this lovely heart-shaped platform here, and look at this. Wow. And believe it or not, you can actually see the ocean, barely, but you can see the ocean way over there. I can't believe what a gorgeous day it is today. I mean, yesterday was beautiful too, but there's been so much haze, so many clouds recently. It's the beginning of the rainy season, and it was just thunderstorming all yesterday afternoon. I woke up this morning, the sun was out, and this happened. You still have some of those misty clouds just hanging on the edges of the crater rim, but then the rest of it is glorious and sunny. Perfection.
And Dan's telling us about how he witnessed the road that we had just taken like slowly be built over the years, and the road in front of us is how it looked, 5 years prior, And now just little by little, it keeps on getting a little wider.
It's just a steep deal. I've got it. I came up here when they were doing it, and I took a bunch of pictures of it and video of these guys working.
Really?
And they're going over to the edge and dumping the dirt off the edge, and it was just scraping down.
Gosh, insanity.
So we had crested the volcanic ridge of this entire crater, and they had built a treehouse there.
Yeah.
The treehouse was so cool.
Hey everybody!
Look where we are. We are in a treehouse.
We are.
On the edge of a volcano in Indonesia with our friend Dan. He lives here in Indonesia and has invited us over, and we are having a blast.
This is true. He took us up a pretty sketchy hill.
Yeah.
So this could be the last transmission for a while. But all we got to do is get back down. But we are fairly high up here. And yeah, we're in like the center of a volcanic crater. So
Yeah.
And in honor of Dan, who is a patron who contacted us on Patreon.
A huge shout out to all of our patrons, especially Dan. We love you, brother.
and a personal thank you.
Oh, no problem. No.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for
Thank you
coming
so
by.
much.
Yeah.
We are so glad to have all of you along for the ride, and you yourself too could be a Patreon if you check out the link below, and you can join for as little as $1 a month, and it helps us push a little bit further, gets up these little mountain inclines.
Yes.
And we promise that we won't show up at your doorstep dirty and filthy and disgusting unless invited. We're like
That's right.
vampires. We don't come in unless we're welcomed.
Who welcomes vampires?
Unwillingly, they're tricky. We might trick you too.
Keep that garlic ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the situation. Coming up this hill, it sounded like Dorco was going to just fall into a million pieces. I mean, look at her. She's got rusty spokes that are falling apart.
Something's rattling.
This is just for looks.
Yeah.
This is missing a thing, and we're so concerned that the other ones are gonna fall out. And there's a lot of stuff that is falling off. So we are going to try to not fall into a million pieces on the way back down, but I know it's gonna be really bumpy and a little difficult. We have to get to this village. You can see it way down here in the crater of the volcano. Look how far down it is, and the road is steep. That's where we're headed. So wish us luck on the road of doom into the crater of the volcano. Here we go.
So after our glorious little viewing point, it was time to get back on Dorco. And I always prefer going up a little bit better because gravity's not pulling you down. You know, and if things start failing, you know, you're just turning into like a meteorite at that point, you know, and
Yeah.
you're just, it's not going to end well.
I always worry about the brakes.
Yeah.
Ever since Guatemala, very early on our 7-year trip around the world, we have been burning out brakes, and it's just a very scary thought, especially with something so steep.
And Dorco's brakes are like 2 wooden pads with like, you know, 2 squirrels pushing on them on either side. And that's the technology she uses. But yeah, we were gonna get down one way or the other, either the really quick way, the shortcut down the cliff, or down this really beautiful winding path. I took the lead just because I have to keep moving and the speed that I need to take. But the issue was, it's so steep that, you know, engine braking just in first gear, it's too fast, you know. So I always need to apply a little bit of the front, a little bit of back, a little bit of engine braking, and just keep on going.
Alright, I did put his place back on my map so I can like see curves and stuff, not that it'll make that big of a difference, but
Are you gonna lead all the way back to the place?
no, I'm just gonna get down off of this.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
And we started realizing that there's a lot of sounds happening with our motorcycle.
Yeah.
Alright, kind of gotta pick a route and stick with it. I may have chosen poorly here.
It has this like sound that's happening with the front fender hitting the tire.
Yeah.
That rattling is just unneeded parts.
We are not adding sound effects. This is pure Dorco sound.
Ridiculous. I don't know why I haven't taken that. We stitched it on with like zip ties. It's just ridiculous.
It's so bad.
This was just a constant just battering of sounds and gongs as we go down.
So bad.
A bucket full of honey. So this guy and his buddies are getting honey from all of these boxes. They get bananas and honey and all around the plants. It's cool.
And then we also started to hear another sound.
A unique.
Yes, even more unique than that sound. It was like a whoop, 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 whoop type of sound.
Yeah. It was a rotational sound opposed to a just like, you know, it was like a hyperactive dog just running around the front fender. Yeah, you agreed with me and you're like, no.
No.
Ridiculous is all it is. So as we're going down, quite literally, we're plugged in on Cardo and we're keeping constant communication just because, the situation is a little bit more risky than usual. But we always want to be in touch with each other to, like, what is that sound? What do you hear? I got earplugs in, and I want to be able to hear if the sound's coming more from the back, from the front. So our Cardo units are super, super awesome, super, super useful in many, many scenarios.
They are our Bluetooth communication headset that we've been using for years and we absolutely love them. And if you are interested in getting a Cardo unit, we have a promotional code that you can use of 2 up and overloaded and you can get a discount.
Yeah, and we have the Pack Talk Edge. They have the little magnetic suck-in, clippy clip thing.
Yeah, it's so great.
Super awesome. So please do check out Cardo units and use the promo code 2UP and overloaded to get yourself a little discount.
All right, from here on out, it's pavement.
So as we are plummeting down the side of the mountain, controllably. Some might say uncontrollably. I thought it was a good time to do another brake check. Dorco has had some issues over our ownership of it, and it's just nice to every once in a while get off and make sure that, squirrels are still there pushing against that wood block for the brakes. That the mice are still in the engine under a little spinny thing. It's like Cinderella's friends. Make this bike go zoom.
It's making a weird noise. It's going woot, 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 front tire. So the front tire is going whoosh, whoosh,
Is it the brake like sticking on the thing or something?
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So we're pulled over. Dan catches up to us and he's like, "Oh no, what's wrong?" I'm like, "Everything. We got a Bajaj Pulsar 220. It could be an unlimited amount of things." We let him know that about the whoosh, 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 whoosh sound along with the failing rear brake. And we pour some water on the brakes to cool them down, which
They were hot.
they were super hot.
Quite the hill.
Definitely needed to cool down.
Yes.
So we sat there for a little bit, put it on its center stand and diagnosed some stuff, and 3 people who don't know much about bikes in general just kind of,
Sitting in the jungle
sitting
looking
in
at
the
a bike.
jungle looking at a bike, pouring water on it.
You're like, oh, that looks hot.
That was better. 7 years on the road, folks. This is how we do it.
Hope you got your notepad out,
Yeah,
take tips.
true. Dan tries to assure us that he knows of a good mechanic back in Tempur. We ride back down to where thankfully we get back to the concrete section. From there on out, it was nice and steady. The brakes seemed to be holding up even though I was still practicing my front brake, rear brake, engine braking trilogy thing. We got to the brake shop.
On our way down from the mountain, this is not a huge surprise, but the back brakes were not working really well. So we're gonna have our wonderful mechanic here in the village take a look at the motorcycle, see if Tim burnt the brakes, see what's going on with that front tire weird noise, and most of all, we would like the mechanic to fix a weld here,
Only Indonesia so far.
right on the pannier.
And they're gonna they're gonna leave here, go to Bromo.
That's totally broken. That needs to be fixed.
Kalimantan.
Dorco's just rattling apart.
And he took a look at everything. He said that the rear brake fluid, the master cylinder and the reservoir for the rear brake, everything was okay. They just definitely needed to cool down for a little bit after such long descent.
Constantly come by here and he's got engines tore apart on the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Should we go?
Let's do it again. Yeah.
So our mechanic here says that the front brake pads are pretty good, but we're still a little concerned about the back brake line, that Tim might have burnt it a bit coming down the mountain. So if he can bleed the brakes, we'll see if he can or not, but that would be useful. So we're gonna ask now.
Going down. See that?
So we just took off the side fairing, checking the brake line. We don't know yet. He said some stuff, but we can't figure out what that means.
No, see that?
He says it's good.
Indonesia, Bahasa Indonesia, that's Jawa.
Okay. I'm gonna trust it.
And he broke out his little spot weld torch thing and
Yeah. This mechanic was great. Even in this small village of Tempur where Dan lives, It's just so wonderful that all across Indonesia, doesn't matter where you are, there's someone who is very knowledgeable and industrious as a mechanic in every single town and location. And this guy was no different.
A new weld on our pannier rack. Yay!
The total of it was like $1 or $2. It was
I know.
super, super crazy.
It was only 10,000 rupiah. It's like less than $1. But we paid him a lot more than that.
You stopped what you were doing to help us. Now we feel much better about continuing, and so a huge thank you to him personally. Once again proving that the hospitality and generosity of these Indonesians are just through the roof.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Got front brakes. I got rear brakes.
Oh, good. We got brakes.
So we successfully made it back to Dan's house on Dorco against all odds.
We conquered that hill.
We sure did.
Actually, it was a volcano rim. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
We are about to make chicken rendang.
Next time. The long days had finally caught up with Tim, and his health took a temporary turn for the worst. What some may call a common cold, Tim describes as a near-death experience, the dreaded man flu.
I'm gonna not film this one. Tim's about to get a butt shot.
With Dorco welded back together, we needed to get Tim spot welded as well. What better way to do that than Indonesia's version of chicken soup for the soul? Umi and I make soto ayam from scratch in her mother's wood fire kitchen, and I attempt to nurse Tim back to health so that we can continue on our amazing journey through this beautiful landscape.
Sudah bertahun-tahun.
Tahun-tahun.
Yeah.
But all of that will be in the next episode.
So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you liked it. If you did, please give us a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below. Ding ding. And if you are interested in coming on a motorcycle adventure with us in person, you can do so. We have a motorcycle tour happening here in Southeast Asia on the island of Borneo. We've actually sold out 2 tours already that are happening in February in 2025. And we have a 3rd tour that still has some spots left in March of 2025. If you're interested and would like to join, please check it out in the link in the description below at 2upandoverloaded.com/Borneo tour. We'll be seeing you next time.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Peace. But man, I had to keep staring forward, but all of the goodness was to the left and right. It's like going to an IMAX theater and like all just watching the movie on your phone. You know, it's like, man. Nailed it.
I got lost somewhere in that, but maybe when
IMAX.
I watch it again, it'll make
Telephone.
sense. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They had built a treehouse there.
Yeah.
A little viewing platform that was in the shape of a heart.
It was a heart with a deck to it.
Yeah.
The sky view looked different. I'm just gonna say it looked different, but
I could see that the idea was really good,
it was
but
nice.
they weren't thinking
somewhere along the line got shafted. We were there with Dan Stiff.
Gosh, this video has gone down into the gutter.
Yeah.